Russia. A land of vast forest, icy plains, and a history etched in hardship. Behind its modern facade lies a darker legacy. A network of prisons notorious for their brutality. These institutions, shrouded in secrecy, have long held a grip on the nation's psyche. They are places where the human spirit is tested to its absolute limit, where survival is a daily victory. From the chilling expanse of Siberia to the bustling cities of the West, these prisons stand as stark reminders of Russia's turbulent past and present. They house a cross-section of society, political prisoners, hardened criminals, and ordinary citizens caught in the web of a system known for its unforgiving nature. Within their walls, stories of despair and resilience unfold, hidden from the eyes of the outside world. This is a journey into the heart of Russia's toughest prisons, an unflinching look at the lives they contain. We will delve into the daily realities of inmates, the intricate power dynamics between prisoners and guards, and the psychological mechanisms employed to cope with an environment designed to break the human spirit. Prepare to venture beyond the iron curtains and into a world where hope is a flickering flame, constantly threatened by the chilling winds of despair. This is not just a story about punishment and confinement, but a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. It is a story of survival, of finding glimmers of hope in the darkest of places, and of the indelible mark these institutions leave on all who pass through their gates. To understand the harsh realities of Russia's modern prison system, one must journey back through time. The roots of this system run deep, intertwined with centuries of Tsarist rule and the horrors of the Soviet Gulag system. Under the Tsars, exile to the frozen wastelands of Siberia was a common punishment, a sentence often more dreaded than death itself. These exiles, forced to endure harsh conditions and isolation, represented the Tsar's absolute power and the price of dissent. With the rise of the Soviet Union came a new era of repression. The Gulag system, a vast network of forced labor camps, became synonymous with Stalinist terror. Millions were imprisoned on flimsy charges, subjected to backbreaking labor, starvation, and unimaginable cruelty. The gulags were not just about punishment, but about control and the suppression of any opposition to the regime. They were instruments of fear, designed to crush the human spirit and ensure absolute obedience. While the gulags were officially dismantled in the 1950s, their legacy continues to cast a long shadow over Russia's penal system. The fall of the Soviet Union did not signal the end of hardship for those incarcerated within Russia's prison system. While the gulags may have been consigned to history, the transition to a new era was marked by its own set of challenges. The economic turmoil of the 1990s took a heavy toll on the prison infrastructure, leading to overcrowding, food shortages, and a rise in infectious diseases. The system, struggling to adapt to the new realities, became a breeding ground for violence, corruption, and despair. Despite attempts at reform, many of the underlying issues persisted. A strict code of conduct, rooted in the Soviet past, continues to govern life within prison walls. This code, emphasizing order and obedience above all else, leaves little room for rehabilitation or individual expression. It fosters an environment where violence is often the only language understood, and survival depends on navigating a complex web of alliances and power struggles. Life inside a Russian prison follows a rigid routine, a monotonous cycle designed to control and subdue. The day begins before dawn, with inmates forced from their overcrowded bunks to the sound of clanging metal doors. Basic hygiene is a luxury, often limited to a few minutes with a communal tap and a squalid toilet shared by dozens. Meals are meager, consisting of thin soup, bread and tea, barely enough to sustain the body through hours of hard labor or enforced idleness. Work, often physically demanding and demeaning, is not about rehabilitation but about punishment and breaking the will. Prisoners toil in factories, workshops, or logging camps, their days marked by exhaustion and the ever-present threat of violence. Free time is scarce and precious. A game of chess, a whispered conversation, or a moment to lose oneself in a book become acts of defiance, small victories against the crushing weight of confinement. Section 5. The hands that control fate, the role of prison guards. Within the closed ecosystem of a Russian prison, guards wield immense power. They are the gatekeepers, the arbiters of punishment, and on rare occasions, small mercies. Their interactions with inmates are often characterized by a mixture of indifference, brutality, and a deeply ingrained sense of suspicion. Corruption is rife, with bribes and favors influencing everything from cell assignments to access to medical care. For many prisoners, navigating this system of favors and punishments becomes a crucial survival skill. A well-placed bribe might secure a slightly better meal, a warmer blanket, or protection from the violence that simmers beneath the surface. However, this reliance on bribery also creates a dangerous cycle of dependence and exploitation. It reinforces the power dynamics within the prison, leaving inmates vulnerable to abuse and manipulation. Section 6. Stories of Resilience, Survival Against the Odds. Despite the brutality and despair, stories of resilience and resistance emerge from Russia's toughest prisons. They are tales whispered in the dead of night, passed from cell to cell, testaments to the enduring power of the human spirit. Take, for example, the story of Alexei, a political prisoner incarcerated for his activism. Deprived of basic freedoms and subjected to psychological torture, Alexei found solace in writing, scratching poems and essays on scraps of paper. His words, smuggled out of prison, became a beacon of hope for others, a testament to the power of words to transcend even the most oppressive of environments. Then there's Irina, a young woman unjustly imprisoned for a crime she didn't commit. In the face of unimaginable hardship, she dedicated herself to helping others, organizing literacy classes for fellow inmates, and offering support to those on the brink of despair. Her strength and compassion became a source of inspiration for those around her, a reminder that even in the bleakest of circumstances, the human spirit can find a way to shine through. Section 7. The Will to Endure. Coping Mechanisms in a World of Concrete and Steel. Survival within the confines of a Russian prison demands more than just physical strength. It requires a resilience of spirit, an ability to find hope in the face of despair. To cope with the psychological toll of confinement, isolation, and the constant threat of violence, prisoners develop intricate coping mechanisms. Some find solace in religion, clinging to faith as an anchor in a sea of uncertainty. Others turn to art, music, or literature, creating worlds of beauty and imagination within the prison walls. Friendship and camaraderie also provide a lifeline, a reminder that even in the darkest of places, human connection can thrive. These bonds, forged in shared hardship, offer a sense of belonging and mutual support, essential for maintaining hope and sanity in such a dehumanizing environment. Section 8. A Glimpse of Hope. The Future of Russian Prisons and Potential Reforms. The future of Russia's prison system remains uncertain, a complex issue intertwined with political will, economic realities, and deeply ingrained societal attitudes. Calls for reform, both from within Russia and from international organizations, have been met with a mix of resistance and limited progress. Overcrowding remains a persistent problem, as is the lack of adequate medical care and the prevalence of violence and corruption. However, there are glimmers of hope. Some organizations are working to improve conditions within prisons, advocating for basic human rights and providing educational and rehabilitative programs for inmates. The road to meaningful reform is long and arduous, but these efforts represent a crucial step towards creating a more humane and just penal system. Section 9. Conclusion. Echoes of Punishment. The Enduring Legacy of Russia's Prisons. Russia's toughest prisons stand as stark reminders of the country's turbulent past and the enduring challenges it faces. They are places where punishment often overshadows rehabilitation, where the echoes of the Gulag system still reverberate through the corridors of power. The stories of those who have endured the hardships of these institutions are a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, but also a stark indictment of a system that often fails to uphold the basic dignity of those in its care. As we have journeyed through the lives of inmates, witnessed the power dynamics between prisoners and guards, and explored the coping mechanisms employed to navigate this brutal reality, one thing remains clear: the need for change is urgent and imperative. The future of Russia's prison system hinges on acknowledging the failings of the past, embracing meaningful reform, and recognizing the inherent worth of every individual, even those society chooses to confine. Only then can these institutions truly serve their intended purpose, not just as places of punishment but as opportunities for rehabilitation, redemption, and ultimately, a return to a society that values justice and compassion above all else.